So the first message that came out very, very strongly, and I feel like this is only going to apply to a small minority of you, but it is a pretty important message. I feel like a lot of you in the past have been involved with somebody like kind of long distance, or there is a sense of geographical distance associated with you and this person. And I feel like for a lot of you, it was just, one of those either friends with benefits or somebody that you weren't seeing on a regular basis. And, because of the distance. So you might meet up once in a while. And I feel like that's one person that you were with. And at the same time, there is another person. And I feel like the new person is somebody that is younger. So I feel like some of you might be seeing two people at the same time, and the younger person is finding out or is asking some information or is looking for some more of a commitment from you. And I feel like as a result of it, you might promise them more of a commitment, but you don't really want to let the other person go. So I feel like, you were dealing with two people, and one person wants more of a commitment. The other person is just like, oh, it's fun and games, and that's all fine. And I feel like that's the case. And then the new person wants a little bit more of a commitment. And you might have, promised them that in the past, but they feel like you haven't really delivered. They feel like you're still talking to somebody else. So they might, give you an ultimatum, is what I'm feeling like, put their foot down. So that's what I'm sensing for a few of you. And others of you, the relationship, the situation can play out the other way around, where you were involved with someone, or you are still involved with someone who has, like, two people, you and another person on the side, and you might be demanding a little bit more of a commitment from them. And they might promise, but I feel like they're not really following through. So you might make more of a demand on them, okay? And you might tell them, like, I really do care about you, so I need this, otherwise you won't see me. So I feel like this sense of standing up for yourself, and coming to the realization that this situation is not good. It's not the way that you want things to go, and you need to either put up with somebody's demands, or you need to make these demands um, on another person. So that's what I'm feeling for some of you. The others of you, I feel like your dating life, honestly, is really, really vibrant. It's thriving, and it's really good. You have some options here, and I feel across the board, all signs, okay? I feel like they might be younger, they might be older, just across the board, your dating life is really picking up. At the center of the spread, we do have the Three of Cups, which is a very, very nice celebratory energy. This is a card about socially dating people. This is a card about, like, new romance, blossoming, new relationships, and seeing the potential, and, feeling very, very excited about the prospects or the people that are coming in for you. So I feel like a lot of you are socially dating. You've got a very, very solid water sign for some of you, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. This is somebody who's making themselves known to you, and if you have, like, multiple options on your plate, I feel like you might narrow down your choices, and you might go with this water sign, because I feel like this is somebody who is very sincere, and they've always been very consistent. It's like they don't care where you've been. They don't really judge. They don't really, like, give you ultimatums either. And I feel like overall you really jive well with this person, because their heart is very open and very generous, and you feel like you can be yourself with them without judgment, without them placing heavy emotional demands on you. So I feel like it's a start of a good, very solid, good relationship for a lot of you with a water sign right now. For others of you, if you're dealing with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, I feel like this is the person that is placing heavy demands. They really know what they want, and they're kind of stubborn, kind of fixed in their ways. I feel like it's a very solid candidate as well, but I do sense there's a lot of, like, it seems to me like you have to do a lot of the work. You have to push for things, whereas they're more, like, laid back, and it's not that they're easygoing. I don't feel they're easygoing. It's just I feel like you're really captivated by this person. There's a lot of attraction, a lot of attraction. And you are the one that's like really fired up with this person, and you feel like you're putting in a lot of the work, and it seems like they're not pushing as hard for the relationship as you are. Well, they've got other suitors as well, and I feel like there's still that, sense of distance between you and them. They've got a lot of suitors, and they're not in a hurry to pick and choose. So I feel like that's why they're taking their time, okay? That's why they're not being so adamant about pursuing one specific person, because they're trying to like allow that opportunity for other people to show their true colors before they really make up their mind. So I feel like if you're dealing with an earth sign, you have to be the one to really push forward with an agenda, because you feel like they're not, you either feel like they're not that invested in you. I feel like they are. I feel like they'd like you, but it's just their nature. They're very slow to act, and they are very, methodical when it comes to how they approach relationships overall. And then for others of you, there is a younger person. I feel like a little bit of a younger energy that's coming through. They have recently severed some ties with another person from their past, okay? They have recently like just cut off a very, very, very bad relationship, a very toxic relationship. I feel like they might be, well, first of all, they might be on the rebound. And so if you're dealing with this, just tread carefully, because people that don't really take the time to mourn, one failed relationship before jumping into another, it's doomed to fail from the very start. Okay, that's what I'm feeling with this person. It shows me a younger energy, and it shows me somebody who is like a little bit defensive, a little bit on guard. They have been burned in the past, and I feel like they were very heartbroken in the very recent past, and we're talking 3-4 months ago, but they're still carrying this chip on their shoulders. And I feel like they might push for a relationship like way too soon. And they tell you things like, I've been through it all, I know what I want. And I feel like, actually, no, they might feel like they know what they want, but I don't feel like they've taken the time to do some healing, to do some work on themselves, and to like mourn that past relationship. So they come to the new relationship, or they're trying to push a relationship with you, and they're carrying all that past residual baggage with them. Like with this sense of defensiveness, this sense of like, oh, everyone is out there to cheat me, or this sense of like wanting love, but not really trusting in love anymore. So I feel like they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They have some residual baggage that they haven't really cleared up in their relationship sector. So I feel like it's going to be really hard for you to live up to their standards almost. So I feel like you might already know this, and you might be kind of tired with having to deal with, being the one to fix their broken wings. I feel like you're a little bit exasperated at this point, having to deal with this, like people who are not whole in themselves, who are broken. And you go to relationships and you feel like, it should bring value to my life. It should add something. It should teach me something. I don't want to be the one to fix other people's problems. I'm not a psychiatrist. I want an equal relationship partner. And I feel like, as a result, you might go a different route altogether. And I feel a lot of you have so many suitors. You're like in a really good space to pick and choose. Okay, so my advice here is all the people that are surrounding you in your periphery are in the upright position. So I feel like you can't really go wrong. Okay, and I feel like at this point you don't really want another, heavy emotional burden. You want something that is a little bit easier to manage, easier to handle. For others of you who are going through like who are in a committed relationship, I do feel like you or a significant other might be traveling. There seems to be some type of a geographical distance between the two of you. What I'm also feeling as well is like communication issues with you and your spouse or your significant other. And I feel like it's more like he said, she said, things being taken out of context, things being misinterpreted. Because at the center of the spread, we do have the Three of Cups. It's on top of the Five of Cups, which indicates to me like over drinking, alcohol being brought into the picture, and then things get blown out of proportion. So just be careful about that, and to be very, very patient with your significant other, because I feel like some sense of some energy here that indicates to me defensiveness, and then two people looking at the same situation but misinterpreting, or seeing things from different angles, so not agreeing on a common narrative as it relates to a specific problem or a specific event. So I see that coming through. It's like playing telephone. Things get misinterpreted. People that are repeating these events are telling them in a different way. So there's that energy. It's troublesome, and I feel like it's gonna lift by the end of the month. But I feel like just be very patient, because there are certain situations where too many things have been said, and we can't really backtrack on our words. So be very careful about how you conduct yourself. And like all fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius, Leos, all fire signs have a habit of like whatever's on your mind, you say it. And you if you're upset, you say it and then you get over it. You're one to like get over things very, very quickly. I feel like the people that you're dealing with, they might be more prone to hold a grudge, especially if you're dealing with an air sign specifically. Okay, so Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And I feel like they might over and over and over again bring up this one specific event, one specific incident where you did not portray yourself in the best light, and they keep harping on it. I feel like that's the case. They keep harping on this. So every time you try to have a discussion with them, they're like, hey, remember this, that one time like 20 years ago when you did this. And every event takes back to that, like it would bring up that specific event. And it's not really fair to you. Like it seems almost as if they are holding a grudge. So like I said, it's very, like when dealing with another person, there's like your point of view as to how a situation unfolds. There's their point of view. So I feel like if you or them are harping on the same event, the same things over and over and over and over and over again, you are going to have to once and for all sit down and have this discussion. And then, once everything is out on the open, you can say like, okay, let's call a truce. Let's never bring up this issue again, because it's not fair. Okay. So it seems like somebody's holding a grudge and they keep bringing the same event back up. And it's exhausting. It's frustrating having to deal with this, honestly. So aside from that, what I do feel is financially you're in a good space. Be careful about overindulging. If you are dealing with an earth sign, okay, specifically be very careful about drinking your sorrows away, or not uh, I feel like some drinking issues as it pertains to an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This could be a family member, or this could be somebody that you are trying to get over. And as a result, you might like go out a lot. You might try to, drown away your sorrow. That's an earth sign. That's in your past. Okay. So if that's the case, just be very careful about over drinking, overindulging, and things like that. I do feel that a lot of you have a new love situation, a new interests that's on the horizon for you. And I feel a very strong water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, that will be very emotionally supportive for you and for your needs. But at the same time, I'm going to say that if you just got out of a recent relationship and you're on on the rebound and you're trying to jump in between partners, like transition from one person to the next without having mourned the previous relationship, or resorting to some type of escapism in order to get over your ex, and you've encountered somebody new, take some time to do some healing before you jump into the new relationship, because I feel like you might still be on the rebound. Okay, so just keep an eye out for that. I wish you the best, Leos. Take care of yourself.